This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Happy Friday, everybody. Yeah, it's the first day of summer, and not only that, there's no rain. Maybe it was just the spring. We'll find out. This half hour brought to you by our good friends at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Imports, domestics, microbrews, the best selection of beer anywhere. Wine coolers, water, soft drinks, lots and lots of snacks. I would like to point out that Doug from Wellsboro was able to draw out Todd on the issue of snacks.
I was just wondering tonight if I would meet Doug face to face.
You might. It's possible. And the wine coolers, water, soft drinks, lots and lots of snacks. Roasted peanuts fresh and out every day. 6 great flavors of slushies. And then ready to drink cocktails. Jack Daniels, High Noon, Crown Royal. It is all. And the Tugger Bar led by the Barrels and the Dills. All at Brewers Outlet. Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. It's the first official day of summer. So I'm doing baseball last night. Don't start until 7:23 because of rain. Get 2.5 innings in, starts to rain again. Restart 8:53, got out of there at about 11:15.
So it was like pre-pitchcock baseball.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Hey, you know what? Do I complain? No. Because you want to know the long list of people that would change places with me in a heartbeat? Long. Very long. So, I'm announcing baseball. I'm not out there digging ditches.
Certainly don't want to be digging ditches the beginning of next week.
Ooh, it's going to be in the 90s, mid-90s.
Yeah, I think
someplace is going to be near 100, right?
I was going to say the AccuWeather was laying here when I walked in. It says Tuesday's high is 97.
That's a big number.
Thank heavens for air conditioning.
Woo! Got that right. You got that right. That is, wow. It's a dramatic change, though, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
We went through all that time, windy, rain.
This might be the first week I've wore shorts 3 days in a row.
What a sight that must be.
Wear your shades. They're still white.
What a sight that must be. All right. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you didn't get out to quarter after 11, you didn't see much of the basketball game.
Much? How about none?
None.
Kept getting updates. Because we do score updates, things like that. All right, it's double digits. And then I looked, and suddenly it was 20 at halftime. And then I looked, it was 30. I'm like going, this isn't even close. Yikes.
It's really strange. The Thunder have had 2 of those games in this playoffs. Didn't Denver beat them by almost like 50-some too?
Yeah, Denver whacked them. Sure did. It was... and look, I can't tell you how Game 7 is going to go. I mean, I can give a guess. I can give a guess, and the guess for me is going to be Oklahoma City leads, or it's within 1 or 2 points into one. Oklahoma City leads by a little bit of a margin at halftime. Oklahoma City leads at the end of 3. Indiana pushes back and ties or takes the lead at some point in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma City will close and win. Turnovers will be the key. The only game in the series where one team had more turnovers than one was Game 1 when Indiana won. All the other games, including last night, turnovers crushed the team that lost the game. It's in any sport. And you look at the Stanley Cup final the other night, Game 6, Edmonton turning over the puck. Edmonton's turnovers with the puck killed them. Bouchard turned it over, led to Reinhardt's first goal. I mean, I don't care what sport it is. Football, we talk about it all the time. Basketball, we talk about it all the time. And that's what it's about. I mean, the ability to take care of the ball. I mean, some people will get up, some coaches will get up, and they'll refer to the ball or the puck or whatever it happens to be. This is the program. You have the program in your hands. You need to protect the program. That's what they tell them. You need to protect it.
I think you can point directly as to why it's the Pacers and not the Knicks for that reason as well. I mean, some of those comeback the Pacers had were just bad Knicks turnovers for a while.
Agreed.
How many times did Jason Hart drive into the middle of the lane and just throw it wildly back out to the three-point line?
Yeah, and for the most part, and normally Josh Hart's a smart player.
Yeah.
But in that series, he got a little like, what are we doing here? All right. Yeah.
I think it's the first one in the NBA Finals since 2016.
The first, what, Game 7?
Game 7, yeah.
Yeah. How about that? And that was what? That was Cleveland, right?
Yeah, Cleveland and Golden State, I believe.
Cleveland, Golden State, and Cleveland won at Golden State.
I think that's a series they were down 3-1 or 3-0, wasn't it?
It was 3-1. No team has ever come back in the NBA from 3-0 to win. So it had to be 3-1.
It's 10 years ago. I still, LeBron couldn't win the LeBron. It wasn't great in the clutch, and then all of a sudden they won the title after being down 3-1.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. The invoice. Okay. So yeah.
Have you seen much on the Ace Bailey stuff?
I've seen some. Am I surprised? No.
No, I just find it weird that you would cancel everything for the number 3 pick unless there's somebody below that. I just feel like there's a team below there that wants him to fall for them, and all this is a ploy to get that to happen.
Yeah. I don't know what he's looking for. Look, he's an interesting guy. In that look, I think he's a very good player. Right? You saw it here in the Jordan Center. I think what did he have in that game? 37? He was terrific. Okay. So, while being terrific, he also made some, to be honest with you, best way to put it is dumb mistakes. Lost his poise and hurt his team. And now you see this, and the other part too is, now I don't know if this is his fault or it's Rutgers' fault. But would they list him at Rutgers at 6'10", 6'10 and a half? And he's 6'7", 6'7 and a half. That's why I never once referred to him on the broadcast ever. Not one time that I ever referred to him on the broadcast as being 6'10 or 6'10 and a half. Because I stood out there near him. I looked at him. Dick and I were like, he's not 6'10". So even his height wasn't even a...
And I think that the assists thing was like I think he's the lowest assist to turnover ratio for a top 10 prospect in 15 years or something like that. And
I mean, passing the ball?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. And I think I've said this on here. I have not been that's not somebody I would want at number 3, and it hasn't been this entire time. But it's just, and Keith, and I am going to try and get Keith on at the beginning of next week again. But Keith's story for the Inquirer that we ran in the paper today also says that it's not, that doesn't preclude the Sixers from taking him. And I don't understand why somebody would be waving so many red flags in the last week and you not being pushed off. And then it goes back to our conversation yesterday about the Sixers' inability to evaluate talent. So we might be running into that again, too.
Yeah,
And again, they're in a rock and a hard place because as this goes forward, I think there's only 1.5 sure things, I guess, in this draft. I think there's still a chance Dylan Harper, it might be a bust. I don't think he will be, but I think there's a chance. I don't think Cooper will be.
I think Harper will be a good NBA player. I think he is helped out by going to San Antonio because Stephon Castle's already there and De'Aaron Fox is there. I think that helps him.
But I feel like there's this notion that he's going to be Derrick Rose, a pre-injury Derrick Rose, and I don't see that.
Oh, no, he's not going to be Derrick Rose. No. And I saw Dylan Harper play twice in person this year. He is not going to be Derrick Rose. He's not going to be.
I also think people forget how good Derrick Rose was before he blew his knee.
Right. And Derrick Rose was an excellent college player. Early in his career, he was an excellent excuse me, that he was an excellent NBA player, MVP, in fact, one year. And then he blew his knee out and everything kind of spiraled, and he never did recapture everything. He just couldn't do it. So,
my feeling is at number 2, you obviously you want a great basketball player, but you kind of feel like, it's an upper level of athleticism as well, and that's the part of the game I don't see from Dylan Harper.
Yeah. He also, I'm telling you right now, Harper, the one thing about him that's also going to come into play, he's going to be a guy that will not play 82 games in a year. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to play 50 to 60 games a year. He's going to want load management. They're going to be sometimes he's going to be out of the lineup where you're kind of wondering why is he out of the lineup. He pulled that at Rutgers this year. I mean, you're going to pull that in college. I mean, you're going to keep doing it in the pros because your contract's guaranteed. Okay.
And I think we've brought this up a couple. It's still amazing to me that they didn't even make an NCAA tournament, and we're talking like they might have the 2 and 3 pick.
Well, no, that's why people complained about how Penn State season went, and I understand the complaints. Okay, so I'm not sitting here not understanding your complaints about the season. But if you're going to tell me that's the worst job, who did the worst job in the league this year? It's not even in the same realm. Okay? It is easily Rutgers. How in the heck can you possibly have 2 of the top 5, maybe 2 of the top 3 picks in the entire draft and have that kind of season?
Well, it could not have been a great season there because they didn't bring anybody back this year, did they? I think everybody either transferred, went to the draft, or graduated. I
think they're out.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where because the other freshman ended up at Washington, I believe, right? The center.
Yeah, he did.
And
that would be Somerville.
Yeah, Somerville.
And that's of all the quote other players they had, he's the only other one I liked. I thought, man, Somerville's a pretty good player. I like him. And Dick and I agree. We both liked him. All right. But, goodness gracious.
Yes.
I mean, how do you let that much talent fall into your hands? I mean, they recruited it, so let's give credit where credit's due. They did recruit it. But, goodness gracious. I mean, it's...
Was that an NIL thing, or it just happened to be? I know Ace's jersey, but you got
Harper's jersey too. His brother played there.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, it's just weird for 2 of those people to end up, 2 of those kind of players to end up at Rutgers, even though if they are from Jersey.
Yeah,
it's not like Rutgers is known for keeping the Jersey kids home.
Right. And to the credit of Steve Peichel, he's done a better job of that.
Yeah.
All right. So, he's done a better job of it. But, so.
I am truly interested to see what they do at 3. I mean, there's probably 5 different guys that could end up going there.
Yeah.
Between Ace, Con Knipple, they're talking about Trey Johnson too, which I'm not a big fan of.
Nope.
That's just little. Well, he's not little. I mean, he's 6'4", but smaller volume shooters always scare me.
Right.
Looking at you, the point guard at the Hawks.
Yeah. Well, he's different.
I did see where they're trying to, I can't remember who it was, but they're trying to, it seems like this second apron is hurting teams, and if teams have 3 guys that they're paying, it seems like the 3rd guy's available, and it looks like the Hawks are going to try and get somebody to pair with Trae Young rather than trade Trae Young, and I'm wondering, this is why you're the Hawks.
I got to give them credit. They are who they are.
I mean, if you want a path to the 8 through 10 seed, follow the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, every time. Every time. And we've talked about that in regards to the Steelers.
Yeah.
That the Steelers are warping toward the Atlanta Hawks.
I mean, we talk about this. That is going to be the most interesting storyline in the NFL for me this year. Is just how that works out.
Right.
And I feel like we're getting to the point where everybody's been so negative on it that I wonder if it just doesn't happen to work out now.
Right. Yeah.
Because it just seems like when everybody, it's just everybody beats on a subject for a long, it just seems like the opposite happens.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I mean, we've seen glimpses of it, and it is 18 to 24 months out from the injury, and maybe he's got one last season in him.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, DK is going to have to catch 100 balls, and Pat's going to have to catch 80. But
yeah, it's. I mean, he's going. Was he? He's 40 right now. He's going to be 41.
Actually, I think he might be 41.
Yikes. Well,
but again, that doesn't mean quite as much as it once did.
Coming out. I mean, being 2 years removed from an Achilles.
Yes,
it does. He'll be more of his old self because he's 2 years out, but the 41 part does enter into how far back he gets.
He is 41. He turns 42 on December 2nd.
Yikes.
He's getting the AARP mails now.
Don't rub it in.
Hey, man, I'm almost 50. They're begging me to join, too.
Don't rub it in. Well, no, I mean, that's in order to get supplemental, I had to do it.
Oh.
No. This is where I've got the advantage. I've got Steve Engel and Purdy Insurance behind me. It has been critical in getting me through this process. Critical.
And now on Friday nights, you can go, wait, I get an extra 10%.
That's not going to happen.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
Summer is here. Is your vehicle going to make it on those summer trips? Don't disappoint your family. We want to see you in a Kia from Sunbury Motors Kia.
Want to see you in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
With Kia Finance bonus cash, low financing, and 132 new Kias available, Sunbury Motors Kia can get you on the road in a new Kia. Choose from either $1,750 Kia Finance bonus cash or 1.97% APR for 60 months, combined with a $500 sticker bonus on select units with plenty ready for immediate delivery. They also have a great selection of 2026 Kia Sportages on the lot with many more on the way. And if you're looking for an awesome hybrid, SMC has plenty of fuel-efficient Sportage hybrid models to choose from. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Sunbury Motors Kia on the Strip in Hummel's Wharf. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Steve Jones Show here on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Steve and I talked a little NBA to open the show today. Let's see what's going on. Well, I've mentioned this before this week. Tonight, if you're interested in some one last chance to see some of the local football stars, the District 4 Football All-Star Game is up at Towanda. It kicks off at 7 o'clock. If you can't make it up there, it'll also be on TV on Fox 56. So that should be a fun time. I guess most people around here would be most into in this immediate area would be the South All-Stars. A couple of the Lewisburg standouts are playing in it. Jeremiah Davis and lineman Andrew Wagner will be there. Linebacker Dan and Alabakoff. Schick was so young this year. There's no Schick players on it for you people listening on 1070 AM. There was no seniors no seniors that decided to play. And for Selinsgrove, just one, Ethan Miller. They were real young again, too. So Ethan Miller, who was All-State in 2023 at linebacker, he'll be playing. Danville standout quarterback Madden Patrick will be there. Shamokin was undefeated until the state quarterfinals. They have 6 kids on the South All-Stars. Mount Carmel has 5 kids on it. So it should be a real fun time. Jersey Shore kids are on the North team. Some of the Loyal Sock kids, and then it's the rest of the Northern Tier kids. Now, the unfortunate part is I was kind of hoping some of those Troy seniors would play, but it doesn't look like any of the Troy State Championship seniors played. So the best team in the Northern Tier is not represented. And I'd also be remiss to not mention the Warrior Run kids. Eli Butler ran for 1,000 yards last year. He's playing, and so is their all-time leading receiver, Sam Hall.
Very nice. And this is going to be up north, right?
Yep, it's up in Towanda. They're rotating. They rotate the stadium north and south now, so it's up in the north home this year.
It's an opportunity for you to bond with people.
Yes, and drive 2 lanes from Hughesville to Towanda.
I've done it.
Yeah, honestly, it's not the ride up that concerns me. It's
no,
a Hawkeye for the deer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget coming down. I believe it was a basketball game and just got to the bottom of 487 right before Hughesville, where it's the lowlands and the creek is there, and there must have been 15 deer standing there right by the road. Yeah. Please stay there, guys. Please stay there.
I remember my son married a girl from St. Mary's. So I had to go up there a few times. And elk.
Yep.
All right. Elk. Great. Right. Don't really want to run into one of those. Yeah, I think the elk would survive. I might not.
I don't want to walk into one, let alone get anywhere near one with my car.
They are majestic, though. Ooh. But yeah, Towanda. Yeah. I mean, my father grew up near that area. Laraysville, Warren Center. That's where he grew up.
It's a beautiful part of Pennsylvania, man.
Oh, no, my dad always referred to it as God's country. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, all right. So, I think I did mention this yesterday. There's going to be one change that they made is not in format yet, but they have to do an injury report now, or an availability report. I guess it's called an availability report. When Penn State played SMU last year in the opening round of the playoff, Penn State, like they've been doing all season long with the Big Ten, put out an availability report. And Penn State was baffled because SMU didn't. SMU did not put out an availability report. Now, it didn't matter. Penn State ran them out. But and Penn State asked about it. And he said, well, no, College football playoff doesn't require you to. So Penn State did not do an availability report for the Fiesta Bowl with Boise State or the Orange Bowl with Notre Dame because they didn't have to. Starting this season, though, and this playoff, you'll have to do an availability report. So,
Did you read the officiating article in The Athletic?
I did. Yeah. What'd you think?
Honestly, I read it until I got. I'm still offended by the Arizona State-Texas game in the semifinal. Like how they did not call that targeting call in the fourth quarter and give the and allow, and that Texas was able to rally to win that game. And it's just reading it. It's just it's a subject I don't like to get into, especially high school wise, because I get these guys are doing doing it. But not only do we have a shortage, I just feel like it's not as good. Well, and actually, I was surprised somebody actually admitted that in that story.
Look, the bottom line is, for Jack Ham and myself, targeting is the single most baffling call we have seen for years.
Yeah.
There are plays where there is no doubt in our mind that's targeting he's done. There are plays in our mind when we're talking about that there's no doubt in our mind doesn't meet the standard. And we get surprised more often than not. We don't, like Jack says, and Jack's right. He says, we can't tell you what targeting is because we don't have any consistency to tell us what it actually is.
I would almost go to a step further at this point and almost say that we don't even do we need it anymore? I think we've kind of, there's been such an emphasis on getting that out of the game at all levels that, I don't think it's the problem it once was. And I think if you go back to a regular personal foul and take away all these, intricacies in the rule, I think it makes it easier then for them to rule. And I don't wonder if sometimes, knowing what the penalty for it is doesn't weigh into their decision. Because I don't think an official wants to kick a kid out of a game for a half or for the rest of the game for some of those marginal calls.
Right. No, I'm sure they don't. But I was watching, it was a long time ago. So 15, 16, maybe it was 2016. Because that was the last time Nebraska had been in a bowl game. And Nebraska was playing, ironically, USC. Okay. And a kid from Nebraska who had been hit with a targeting call earlier in the year goes in, hits a kid from USC, and they call targeting. Well, when you look at the replay, hits him in the shoulder. So I'm like, okay, he's all right. He'll stay in the game. They threw him out. I'm like, what? He hit him in the shoulder. Then I contrast that with Nick Singleton running the ball. I'm trying to think who was against. And he just got clocked right in the helmet. I mean, square helmet to helmet contact. Nope. I mean, I can't tell. Now, I understand when a runner ducks down. I do understand you can't call that targeting because he ducked into it. Singleton didn't duck in. It was the West Virginia game. He didn't duck in it. The guy came to him from the side and he belted him right in the helmet. It was West Virginia, the opener last year. Right? Seemed pretty cut and dry to us. Right? And nope. Because we do look to see, when we're looking at it, we do look to see whether somebody lowered themselves into the contact, whether they ducked into the contact. Well, we do try to look for that. Singleton didn't do that in that play. He just got whacked by the guy in the helmet. Seemed obvious to us. All right. Nope. Gone. I can't figure out what they're doing with it, and I agree with you. I don't think it's a rule that needs to be in there right now.
I mean, I think we've talked about this one before. Go back to, what was it, Cal in Miami, I think, late on a Saturday night when Miami
yes.
was trying to come back, and that was one that's very clear targeting that wasn't called as well.
Right. Yeah, it was Miami that should have been called for it. Miami came back and won. It was against Cal, and there were two critical calls in that game. Both dramatically went Miami's way, including that call. And that call, in my opinion, and there may be an official that sits down and refutes this and would have some logic to it. I'd be absolutely willing to listen to it. But my opinion was, in watching it both live and on the replay, that it was an easy call against Miami. Easy.
I think that the play-by-play and the color guy said the same thing live and at full speed before they even started watching the replays. It was that obvious. It's just I think that's what bothers me, and I do wonder with the college football playoff. I forgot the word, is the inconsistency and the conferences running them, and I wonder if that's something else that comes under the auspices of the playoff thing, like the enforcement part does.
Well, again, you could be in a playoff game. It gets called in the first half, and you don't have the guy the rest of the game. If it gets called in the second half, you don't have the guy the rest of the game. Oh, and by the way, your next playoff game, he's not playing the first half of that game either. Like, okay.
I think the biggest thing is both of these entities, the NFL and now, though I don't know how you pull it off with the NCAA with the different conferences and stuff, unless you do make it, is there probably should be some sort of full-time officiating crew.
Well, you'd think, but it took the NFL a long time to get the full-time officials.
Are they yet?
No, there's only certain ones that are full-time.
I realize it's harder for at the colleges, but I'm figuring, with the amount of money between the SEC and the Big Ten, especially, you would think that at least those two would try to come up with some sort of uniform officiating crews, just so those are the crews in the playoffs as well.
Yeah. Look, one of the greatest games ever played was USC Texas in the Rose Bowl with Vince Young. Well, if you look back on that game, you have to look at the entirety of the game. There was a drive, I think it was near the end of the first half. Vince Young went back, and I think he slipped, and his knee clearly hits the ground. I'm talking it's not one of those hey, let's get it's not like when Gene Steratore took the paper to see if it was a first down or not. All right. Vince Young's knee clearly hits the ground. The official was standing right behind him and completely missed it. Well, that's a pivotal play that may have kept Texas maybe from scoring on that drive. And they did score on the drive, by the way. My issue has always been very simple. Okay? My evaluation is this. If you can get the easy ones right, I'll give you a pass always on the difficult ones. But if you're missing the easy ones, we have a problem. Difficult ones are difficult for a reason. It's live and it's difficult and it's close. That's fine. I get it. Totally get it. It's not something I'd want to do. Right? So difficult ones, I get it. My problem, I will have a problem with officiating when I see easy ones being missed. And we've seen too many easy ones missed. How about that?
Which I know you weren't home till late. Did you see any of the Padres-Dodgers?
It did not, no.
So Yamamoto last night is going for a immaculate inning. He's 0-2 in the number 3 hitter and throws up the ball. I hesitate to say right down the middle of the plate, but it might have been 2 inches above right down the middle of the plate.
Let me put it this way. It wasn't on the black.
No, called it a ball.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Yamamoto being, a Japanese pitcher, he doesn't react. Somebody from the Dodgers dugout must have said something immediately because the home plate umpire's head snapped around and stared right into the dugout.
Hey, but that's...
I was like, oh, man.
But, again, don't miss the easy ones. Okay? It's easy for a reason. That's when I get a little off kilter about officiating, is when I see easy ones missed. Okay? That's, to me, the bothersome part. Difficult ones, it's difficult for a reason. So I'm going to understand what you're trying to do. Also, I'm in complete agreement with Mike DeCourcy on this. I'm sick and tired of people examining a fingernail. The ball goes out of bounds. Did the fingernail touch it? I'm like, oh, for God's sakes. If you're trying to look for that, you're wasting all our time. Just let's go. Let's go. These replays are taking too long, too often. I realize the goal is to get it right. But guess what? All right. It's okay to go, nah, it's all right, move on. You got 30 to 45 seconds. You can't see what it is in 30 to 45 seconds. Turn it off, move on.
I think the other issue is they're kind of relying on replay to make those calls now as well.
Oh, it's a crutch.
Yeah.
There's no doubt it's a crutch. There's no doubt it's a crutch, and I understand it because their job is extremely difficult. An official's job is absolutely out there. Show of hands. How many of you want to officiate games? You're going to walk in right away. Nobody likes you. I mean, away from the field, court, whatever. I kid around with officials all the time because, all the guys I talk to, they're great guys. Every once in a while, do you get somebody that, like you talk to them and they don't have the time of day for you? Like, okay. But all the Big Ten referees I've talked to in football I haven't talked to all of them, but I've talked to a chunk of them. They're great guys. Work hard, try hard, right? Basketball, I'd say 90% of them are great guys. There's 10% where you're like, okay. I know people would like me to name names. I'm not going to do that. But I'll give you an example of a guy that rarely came over and said anything to us one way or the other, because this will be a good story. And that was Paul Sells. And so one day, Dick Girardi and I are at Michigan, and we have stat broadcast, and it comes up on stat broadcast. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, here are the starting lineups. And we always look to see who the officials are. Bang. Bring the officials up. Oh, it's Keith Kimball. Okay, good. Yeah, good guy, right? Earl Walton, great guy, right? Earl's a great guy. And Paul Szechuan. I looked at Dick. I said, who the heck is Szechuan? And Dick looks over. He goes, Szechuan? What? He's looking at it. He says, I don't know. Well, they walk out and we see it's Paul Sells. So I think we were at Nebraska later in the year. And Paul comes by and I say, hey, Paul, do you have a second? He says, all right. Come over. I said, and I tell him the story. Right? And he goes, what? He says, you got to be kidding me. I said, so every once in a while, if you hear anybody say the Penn State guys refer to you as Szechuan, he says, that's the reason why. He goes, that's too good. And ever since then, He comes over every time. Hey, Steve, Dick, how you doing? How's everything? You know what I mean? Right. All you had to do was just kind of break the ice a little bit. Paul's a terrific. I think Paul Sells is an excellent official, terrific guy, and an excellent official. Now, does it mean they get them all right? No, but I mean, do we get them all right in the broadcast? Well, probably. No, I'm just.
I was going to say this is where you're actually supposed to say yes, Steve.
Yeah. Right. Do we get them all right in the broadcast? Of course not. Nobody gets it right all day. Coaches don't get it right all day. Players don't get it right all day. Officials don't. Announcers don't. And I know you'll be shocked. The fans don't get it right all day either. Okay? So I have a lot of respect for the job that they do. But again, my standard is simple. Make sure you get the easy ones right. I'll always give you a pass on the difficult ones. Always. That's why you're talking about the ball strike call. That's an easy call. That's not a difficult call. That's an easy call. You got it wrong. You can't get the easy ones wrong.
I'll always remember there was a guy, they do those umpire scorecards on social media where he was like 99%, but the one call he missed was right down the middle.
Right. Well, remember Joyce, the umpire, is a terrific umpire on that perfect game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an easy call, and he missed it. It was crushing.